You're on.
This conference will now be recorded.
Good morning. It's Friday, May 14th. This is the Tufton Road Board of Selectmen's meeting. Let's begin with the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right. Is there any public input?
I did have a fellow contact me about the warrant article for the upgrading and a little bit of maintenance on the Willand Road. And because, although his property abuts the Willand Road, his house is some distance down 171. He doesn't intend to ever build up there and wants to know why he would be responsible for paying back money that was spent on Willand Road. I said I would investigate. I believe the reason that he would pay is because he's in a butter, and that's the way the article was written. Am I incorrect?
So,
Who's the abutter?
Mr. Podson.
Well, Mr. Podson was involved in
yeah.
the decision making.
Yes, well, I don't know why you would ask me this question.
Yeah.
So
So,
everybody's going to get assessed.
That's the truth. As far as I know, I told him I would look into it
Yeah.
before I
so
made
the
any statements.
answer is that access to your property on a road,
Could be,
even if he's not using it now,
right?
it's still access to the property.
Well, I thought I would bring the board's response rather than my individual response, which is basically the same. Thank you, that was it.
All right. Let's begin with approval of minutes from Friday, May 7th. Work session.
Nothing jumped out at me.
I'll move we approve the minutes.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. And let's move on to Chris Rule and the transfer station. Good morning, Chris. So we're here to talk dollars and cents, I guess, on the paper recycling, which is Article 16 on the warrant. Your predecessor had put together an analysis of costs associated with resuming the paper recycling, and I believe you reviewed that. Is that right?
Yes, I have several different items. I'm waiting for some information to come back from the laser recycling. I don't have the information yet. I probably won't have it tomorrow. On some dumpsters, some custom dumpsters, with a barn top with sliding doors to keep the paper from blowing everywhere, which will help keeping the place clean.
Right.
But pretty much what Clay put together, I think was a pretty good proposal. I think I had it here. I told you, I think last meeting about the market for paper was still down. So it's not quite make a plant money. It's the transportation of the paper that's going to be the same
Right.
cost as any other I never get rid of, I talk waste management, and I have to let it get them done. And communicating dozens of people here in reference to this. Well, Pete from Whitman said that the transportation costs for the paper is having the same as the containers, which is $148 for individual containers, or
Well, let me back up.
148 for singles, or 280 for doubles.
All right, so the transportation cost is basically the same regardless of where it goes, right? Whether it goes to landfill or it goes someplace else, that's not gonna change, right? When we stopped recycling paper, it was because the cost of disposing of the paper through the recycling channel had gone way, way out of sight. It was way more than what we paid to tip solid waste. And that was due to the market, overseas market for mixed paper collapsing. And there not being a domestic market that could take the mix of paper with the quality issues that people were used to generating to ship overseas. So since that time, I know that things have changed somewhat. Do you know what the current disposal or value of the paper is?
108 per ton.
So 108 per ton is, that's the disposal cost, or that's the,
That's what it's worth.
all right, so the selling price is $108 a ton.
It was true, the last price was, $256, something like that, to get rid of it.
So it's
It's very expensive.
to get rid of it, but now they're paying for it?
Well, if it was like $1.08 per ton, they were paying for it.
That we're paying for it?
They were paying for paper, it was premium paper.
Right, so,
So not all of our paper's gonna qualify.
No,
Right.
it had to be premium paper.
What's the haulage rate again? I'm sorry.
It was 148,
128?
148 for a double load. So if we have 2 containers, it's 148 per container. Single haul is good.
So we don't know, I
We
mean,
only have 1 container.
but that's the same
Same as what we
anything
have.
else. So it's,
What's
the transportation cost is irrelevant because we're gonna pay it whether it goes to the dump.
I was just trying to,
or-
we're gonna pay it even if we sell the paper.
Right,
So what's the per ton rate? Do we have that?
yes, so we're gonna pay that whether it goes to the landfill
Right.
or whether, so the transportation cost is a wash.
Part of that cost by the 108.
Well, actually, what we're doing is we're trading off the tipping cost for municipal solid waste for the disposal cost of revenue of the paper. Right, that's the only thing that changes. We haul it to wherever it's
We're not
going.
getting all of the $108.
No, yeah, but,
Because
so
part of that-
if you get $108, that's as opposed to the tipping fee for the municipal solid waste. That's the thing that you're offsetting.
Okay, so what's the tipping fee per ton?
You try to make things on it, you know? Yeah, I have it. What we had last year. In 2020.
Was it? I don't know if I have your last report, but I thought it was.
I didn't bring that to so.
$20 20.
You should be attached to the minutes last week.
What's that?
If you still have last week's minutes.
Yeah.
So
Oh, it's in last week's minutes?
it's attached to minutes.
That's not Friday's minutes, that's last Monday's minutes.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, but he doesn't clean his phone. He might have.
You being snarky this morning?
No, I thought that was a positive thing.
Ah.
So,
You have a contribution?
well, that question is, are we talking about 3 different dollar amounts? One for hauling, one for tipping, and revenue for the tonnage?
Yeah,
Right. So,
So the tipping fee for paper is more than for garbage?
so,
It shouldn't be.
it went way out of sight, which is why we said, we're just gonna put it with the municipal solid waste, because there was no real market for it. So the market has improved, right, so that now the paper has some value, right?
not much.
All right,
Right,
so
$108 a ton.
$108 a ton?
$1.08.
A dollar a ton?
108.
Yeah, okay.
$1.08.
All right.
Oh, Lord.
Okay.
That's a big
All right.
difference.
$1.08.
So what that,
Yeah.
all right, so what that represents,
It costs a fortune for us to get rid of paper.
so what that represents is only a savings over what we're now spending to dump it in the landfill, correct?
Right.
Correct, yeah.
So it's just a cost avoidance.
For us to get rid of, for us to separate paper,
Right,
it's a field good.
right. So one of the pieces that we talked about when we did this analysis before is the labor on the part of the town involved in ensuring that the paper that we're collecting is what we can sell, as opposed to throw it all in there, which is the way it used to be, which would, my understanding is, end up in a rejection,
Correct.
right?
Unless we can sort, if we can sort printing paper and fiber paper, you know, all separated, like, you know, beer boxes and, brown fiber paper
Right?
and, printed paper, if everything would be sorted,
Mhm.
and it all could be premium paper, that might be, we might be able to get premium, money
Yeah. And,
and find a market for it.
mhm.
So then
Does NHRA
that would be later.
find the market?
We could find a market for it, but that would be very later.
And would you need a container for each type?
You would need
Right.
a container for
Right.
each type. You'd have to have separate containers for every.
So we're not gonna make this decision, the voters are gonna make this. decision.
Well, that's right.
So
That's
what
right,
is
but
the
we'll-
increased cost of having a designated paper sorter and however many containers you think you're gonna need?
Well, I haven't got the price for the containers yet.
All right, so we're
I'm
gonna have to
thinking the
estimate that.
containers, my guess is probably 15,000 for a container. So I'm thinking
Okay, we're gonna buy the containers then?
we're gonna have to own them because they don't
So
sell.
how many containers do you
I presume we probably need three.
Three.
So to sort each.
$45,000 worth of capital goods.
Mhm.
And what's your labor cost?
But I'm saying if you're gonna sort each individual paper, I would say you're gonna at least need a part-time guy all the time or a full-time guy.
Okay, so if we put one guy on paper all the time,
Well,
what's,
one guy helping, right?
right, so what's the annual cost of that?
Whatever the
What's
salary
your,
and
what's your
insurance.
hourly, what's the hourly rate, anybody know?
So somebody starting out 19,
19?
20, something like that.
Really?
18,
18?
no?
Do I hear 17?
I don't
So
think that-
35 hours? I love it. How many hours do we work at?
35 hours.
Oh, so you think it pulls?
So $665 a week. $34,580.
How much?
34,580. So you gotta add to that too. Times. 1.06 equals, so 36,654. If they're full-time, you get insurance, so if you get a $40,000 cost on employment, so now you're at $85,000 a year.
And I can get the exact numbers for you for tomorrow.
Yeah. You need, I guess we'll be doing the presentation.
Yep,
So 65, we used, the last year, we did 65 tons of mixed paper. Well, we did, the last year we did any mixed paper recycling was 2015.
Okay.
We did 65 tons of
right,
mixed paper.
So the most we're gonna make is $702.
And it cost $355 per ton to dispose of it.
365.
$355.
So that's
Right.
more than
That's,
unsorted trash.
Yes.
which is why we put it,
Well,
started throwing it in the compact, right?
the trash right now, we're paying about $800
800 what?
a container for it to get it.
So
That's 10 tons.
so it's $80 a ton. That's
Approximately, yeah, we're getting 10 tons, 9 to 10 tons per 42-yard container.
all right.
But these paper containers are 30-yard containers. So we're getting
The
12,
tonnage is the constant.
correct?
Right. So,
All right, so if we go with Bill's presumption that transportation of the stuff away and all of that is gonna be constant, the capital cost is $45,000, the labor cost is $40,000, and this is just rough
And
numbers.
the savings in disposal, if it's 65 tons, is $5,135. So that's
How'd
the
you get that?
$80 a ton
Yeah,
times 65 tons.
I thought it was $1.05 a ton.
No. $80 a ton is what we pay to tip at the landfill,
Oh,
correct?
okay, I see what you're doing.
So all
So
we're,
you're doing
the-
what I
the-
wanted to do.
right, so the dollar that we're getting, the main benefit is the $79 in
Right.
avoided cost, okay? But the volume that we have, and this is 65 in mixed paper, the old way.
Right.
So if we start saying we're gonna separate it out to the different components and we're gonna trash some of this stuff, that number is gonna be
Different.
lower than that probably, okay? Because we all got lazy, we all got into the, China takes anything, we just throw it all in there and nobody domestically is gonna do this because they can't do it for what China will pay for it. So we're all lazy, we're all throwing everything in there, slick paper, copier paper, all kinds of stuff. And different grades work different ways. So anyway, when I go in there and say 65 tons times $79, that's what I wrote, $5,100.
Okay.
Yeah, plus I
So
did my math wrong, but
you're,
that's always possible, so.
you still have $80,000 worth of operating costs.
Right, so we save a little over $5,000 in tipping fees,
Right.
okay? And we have to invest $45,000 in buying equipment that might be a one-time cost, but there's some ongoing costs associated with it. And we spend neighborhood of $40,000 a year in labor.
Right.
So it's a net cost of $36,000. Right?
Yeah,
Plus,
I mean,
plus
think-
purchasing the containers.
Yeah, I think if you take the containers out of, let's say, a 5-year lifespan,
Right,
so now you have $9,000 actual cost per
Right.
year. So 9 plus 40 is 49, let's call it $50,000 at the transfer station. And you can take the $5,000 off that, you got 45, but then you still have your transportation costs, but
right.
the cost to the taxpayer.
The additional cost to the taxpayer is, what do we say? Close to $50,000 a year.
The only benefit I will say, or one of the benefits we have to look for is all this paper comes out of the MSW compactor. So we get more in that compactor.
Yeah, so maybe, no, it still doesn't work. I was thinking maybe you'll save a trip or two, but.
You're gonna put that trip on the other
Yeah,
side.
we don't say.
We're dealing with the same amount of stuff, just where it
We
goes.
don't say transportation.
Yeah.
I mean, we stretch it out because the paper's going into this container, but we get more MSW into that.
So, and another potential benefit, depending upon how much paper comes out, is in the times where we're filling the compactors up fast and we're kind of on the weekends running out of space, maybe that stretches out a little bit.
Correct.
That's an intangible.
For the people who actually sort the paper.
Or,
Well, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
You know, if we divert, so 65 tons of paper, just to put it in perspective, how much, do you have it there, how much municipal solid waste did we tip last year? Total tons?
2020, 1,263.70 tons. 1,263.70 tons.
so,
1, 2, 6, 3, so that's 5%. So that 65 tons represents 5% of the waste.
right.
So, which in perspective tells us it's not like we're stretching out the pull time on the compactors by much.
I mean, we're only talking about the financial costs and benefits. I think the voters have to decide, and
How important is it to pull this stuff out of the landfill? Is it worth $50,000 a year to the voters to feel good about it not going to the landfill? That's the question.
and how much, I mean, I think the 50,000 is a light number, because if you really want to do it, then there's going to be some costs involved in public education and, you know, sourcing containers for people to sort their paper at home and doing all that. I mean, if you really want to get into it, there's a lot more that could be done. But, all right,
So,
I'm good.
and the actual dollar impact in the budget, if we do it, when we budget, that comes in the fall, as we start putting the budgets together and looking more critically at what our staffing gonna be and all that. But this is a neighborhood number we're talking about in terms of the
Yeah,
dollar
and-
impact.
I mean, it's a negligible amount of money as far as the gross budget's concerned. So
Right.
I don't think it's certainly not gonna throw the tax rate up.
It's not gonna throw the tax rate up, no.
Okay.
Yep. Okay, good.
You gonna be there tomorrow?
Yeah.
Okay.
Chris, if I may,
Sure.
in my folder, I have an application for employment,
Ah.
which up in the top corner is Renton Tufton Road Transfer Station.
Yeah,
Not
so that's,
That'll go non-public. I
Right.
just wanted to know if
Yeah.
Chris was aware of anything or if he was looking to hire somebody.
Yeah, we're looking to put on some pretty good people.
Yeah.
Okay, that's what I needed to know.
Will you be back for the non-public?
He wasn't gonna, he was hoping he could
It wasn't
do it
going-
quick this morning.
it wasn't going to.
How are we gonna get
Actually,
well, so we can do a non-public, we'll have to go to the side room to do it. So,
I just need a recommendation.
For what? To go non-public?
No,
Oh,
all right.
this new employee. I mean, I don't know that we can make a decision on this first meeting interview.
no.
All right, so, why don't we do a quick non-public and deal with your issue, and then we'll go back in regular session.
I'll make a motion to go into non-public. 99A, colon,
Three, whatever is, for personnel,
personnel.
right?
I'll second.
Marcus, yes?
Mike, yes.
All right. We'll be back very quickly.
Yeah, you can just shut it down.
Don't know. Yeah.
Whether we come out of non-public.
I'll second that.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay. So we're up to the highway department.
Quick question. Are we
Yes.
sealed or not?
Yes. Morning. Good morning, Jim.
So since January of this year, we actually were called out to plow or treat the town roads 27 times. And the last time of the season was on April 16th. The winter budget actually has $88,646 left, and the sand shed is full, so I think we're in pretty good shape for the rest, for the remaining of the season until January 1st.
Yeah.
Should be in excellent shape. Probably similar to this last year, which worked out well. The cash basin cleaning's already been completed. The road sweeping has been completed. And most of the road grading for the dirt roads has been completed. Some of the tree removal has been completed. We spent approximately $12,880 was spent, so we have about 12,000 left.
So, at some point in time, you were gonna figure out, you have some idea of how many trees we have that need to come out.
The list is growing quickly at this point, with the,
And how many trees they get per,
Per day's worth of work.
right, so we can, I mean, we just guessed at that $25,000 number.
true.
And we'd like to plug in a number there that really reflects the cost and the amount of work that's gonna get done.
Okay, yeah, I think I reported to you once.
That was the warrant, yeah, he reported, it was like 7 trees, right?
I think it was somewhere around 7 to 10 trees per day of the large trees. They move right along. I mean, we're not talking little easy ones that you can just fall. I mean, they're right in a bucket truck and,
I mean,
Yeah.
Susie Weeks is here, she noticed too, you're an ash tree
Yeah.
that's 2 feet around.
Yeah, one of the, some of the feedback that we had from people along the way is, and of course, the wood belongs to the property owner, but the size of the pieces that they left were such that you'd have to bring equipment in to handle it. So, you know, I don't know what an appropriate length or size for a log that's left there is, but leaving a piece that's 12 feet long, that's 3 feet in diameter, you know, you gotta come in with a loader to move it.
in the past, when we did it, we were cutting 4-foot lengths.
Yeah,
But even still, a lot of times you would still need a chainsaw to cut that up because they're talking over 100 pounds.
I guess my thought is if we say 4-foot lengths is kind of the normal, it makes it,
A
a
standard.
lot more of the stuff is gonna be, people are gonna be able to handle better than when you got these.
It'll be off the road, and then some of that stuff, my fear is that come December, it's still laying there.
I think I'm gonna be removing it before then because I'd like to see it out of the way before we have the roadside mowing come in.
Right.
Yeah,
So we have started removing some of the pine. We had a family call us and say, we've taken the wood we want, the rest is, you know, pine, we don't want it, or too big for us. So we have started removing some of that stuff.
But I think going back to Bill's comment, if you cut it into a more manageable size, more of it's gonna disappear via citizenry. Less of the expense of removal is gonna be on the highway department.
That would be great. So I'll ask the tree company to cut me 4-foot lengths.
And you never answered my question about how many trees there were, so I can do the math.
I think the answer is he doesn't know at this
You
point
don't
that,
know?
that,
We had a tree count, but I feel like that was actually a year ago or a year and a half ago probably at this point. And it was
Well, we're
in the
on it,
hundreds.
just
It
report
was in the
back to
hundreds.
Kathy with it, that's fine.
yeah,
So that I can, or we can have some idea of what a day's worth of, or how many days we'd like to buy on an annual basis.
Okay.
Uh,
And the other thing that, you know, we've noticed, last year when we came up with the number, I guess we weren't aware of how bad the ash tree
right.
population is dying from the tree board.
yeah.
And it was very noticeable this winter, actually. Shane Levin brought me around to show me the signs and what it looks like. And then we saw some of the trees that actually have already collapsed. And he showed me that they're very brittle. Some trees, like oaks and pines, they can stand for a very long time once they're dead. Ash trees are not one of those type of trees that can stand very long. They become brittle and they come over with any kind of wind and the big branches fall off. So
And was it your decision where you were gonna cut? Because I drive Ledge Hill Road every day, and I see what has been cut. But then I look at the Ham Hill area, and there's trees with holes like this. And so they stopped and moved somewhere else, and I just wonder why.
So I think that you know, we decided let's just try to knock off some of the roads, but that was one of the roads that I thought was important, was to get that road done. It had a lot of bad trees. So I think what has happened a couple times was, depending how much, if I had guys free,
Yeah.
that could help out with the traffic. And if we didn't have traffic control, they went to a different area, or if we only had one guy for traffic control. Ham Hill was one that we thought that we needed walkie-talkies and two guys at each end and tons of signs and cones.
Okay.
But we're gonna get them back at
I
some
think they're
point
gonna
soon.
fall down, that's my own, you know, at some point in time, you're either gonna take them down or they're gonna come down on their own.
Correct.
And then you're gonna have to go clean it up.
And also, you know, I little bit of it go to the tree expert's decision too, what ones come down first.
Yeah.
And you know, like he said before, like oak trees can stand for years dead, and these ash trees come up. So that plays a part of it too. Oh, I called the road striping crew to get on the list for this spring. And I was told there's actually a shortage of paint right now. And they are expecting 2 tractor trailer loads in at the end of June. They can't get anything before that. He's, you know, just working off of what he had left from last year. There's also going to be a price increase. I think it was, he said it was, I tried to figure it out. I couldn't come up with a number, and I tried to reach back at him, but I hadn't been able to make contact. But it was like 0.25 cents per foot. But then when I looked at my notes for the quote that we had, I tried to make sense of that, and it didn't make sense. And I'm thinking it must have been like a 0.025 or something like that. That would make more sense.
So 2.5%.
Excuse me?
2.5% increase, is what you're saying?
Yeah, it is on part of it, because I forgot to write it down, but I want to say the yellow line was, we were paying less than a penny per foot by the 0.97 or something like that. And I think we're paying a half a cent per foot for the low line. So there'll be an increase, I just don't know what that is yet. I'll look into that a little bit more. And also, I don't know if we're gonna, you know, maybe the town meeting has to happen first, but are we gonna increase the roads this year? Add another road to it? We talked last year about, I think we agreed we were gonna do Tufton Borough Neck. And we talked-
Whatever we put in the budget was, and I,
11,525.
okay, but I remember in the discussion that was included certain roads. I don't remember what they were.
I feel like it was just up the
I
road,
think it may be that we added Tufton Borough Neck Road.
which would help with the walking. and
Right,
stuff.
there was a walking issue.
Right.
Yep.
Right. So, and speaking of that, I hate to stripe it and then find out next year you gotta pay it. What's the schedule on Tufton Run Back?
We only get 1 year out of paving, out of the striping anyway, so it's
Okay.
not wasted. It only lasts 1 season, unfortunately.
All right.
Yep. I've also contacted Urban Tree for getting the permit started for the spraying of the knotweed in September. They're going to get back to me for a contract that I need to sign. I also talked to Frank Carroll from Allstate Paving, and he has us on the schedule for the first week of June.
Okay?
So I'm just hoping that we find out exactly as soon as possible if we are.
Are you prepped for his paving? You're all set?
We're not 100% set.
Okay.
We're close on a lot of it. We got a little bit, I want to just do a little bit more ditching and dam, but the culverts are done. 90% of it is really on, ready to go.
Okay.
And what about North Line?
North Line is actually good. The only thing that I have left on that is I want to mark, or we're going to cut the areas that are high, raised, like where we think there's a rock.
Yep.
We're going to cut those out and dig. I hate to do that early, because then we have to babysit the potholes for
Right.
every day. And they just get blown right back out when they fill them with gravel.
And how about Federal Corner?
So at Federal Corner, we have culverts that need to be replaced, but I don't know that we want to tear into that until we know for sure that the warrant article passes, because that was kind of a little bit above normal.
I'm not sure I worry about it.
No,
I
I
think
think
the
you get
paving
it.
budget's the easiest one we've got,
Yeah.
one of the easier ones.
Yeah.
Okay. I don't have a.
The argument that's
problem
gonna,
getting it done.
and not to jump all over this, but the argument that's gonna happen at town meeting, I'm sure, because it's on a Saturday in the morning, on a 70-degree day, and we're gonna have a lot of people there, is you're gonna hear from Shirley Way. They've been harping at us since I got elected 5 years ago. So when we get to the paving article, or, yeah, because we get to that before the general budget, you're gonna have to answer, or we're gonna have to answer their question about when and what. So if you can review your plans for this year, is there any prep work that can happen over there?
There is, we have done some prep work last year as far as drainage and stuff like that. We made headway on that. And
And more to do though, right?
there is, yep, there's definitely more to do. I think we gotta review all the culverts and, you know, make sure they're all in good shape before tearing that up and paving. You know, that's probably big enough that we're gonna have to do in sections too. That's probably not a one-year project. That's gonna be an expensive.
You mean the paving part of it?
The paving project for Shirley Way, it's a, you know, it's a
So
lot.
can we say with authority that we're gonna spend the time this summer examining all the culverts and drainage to make that all right?
We can, yep.
Because I think if we're making progress, it's a lot easier to diffuse the
Well, I agree.
situation.
He's just show some effort somewhere.
No, and I think you can say that. We made some progress last year and we will
Yeah,
continue.
well,
that
last
this
year doesn't matter anymore, it's this year.
True.
They don't
I
care
agree.
about last year.
Yep.
All right, that's it.
And then at some point we will discuss which roads we're gonna pave for next year.
Right.
Right.
We haven't had that
And
conversation.
hopefully we will have gotten Dane North Line done, so that we don't have to, that's not gonna be
Well,
in our.
day will be done.
Yes.
North line will still need,
A top coat for next year.
right.
Okay.
But that's a quick, easy thing, but obviously still costs money, but there's no prep at that point.
Right.
Right. But, and then to revisit your mention of the warrant article, we're stepping up. Our intention is to get more paving done. It's gonna cost us a little more money, so as
Yes.
long as it doesn't
Is,
adversely affect the.
is this in line with the study that the Lakes Region Planning Commission had done?
Right,
Trying to follow that as much as we can.
right, on the culverts and the paving.
Right.
It's not, the timing of that schedule that they put together isn't working out that well, but
Sure.
the priorities are working out.
Right.
Um, Our beaver friends are back, so we've been dealing with that. They've been around town in several spots that we've had to deal with. But all in all, I think actually, you know, we're in pretty good shape as far as the work and budget. You know, I think we're in good shape for this time of year.
Yeah, you've used up 75% of your spring budget, you still got 30% of your.
I think that's an old number, or an old sheet you're looking at.
No, she gave it to me
521.
for you.
I still have, because I don't have that on mine. I have less.
Spring maintenance.
I got mine on Monday, so I don't know.
Okay, I got $37,500,
And we've
and you spent
still
$28,151.
got $9,300 left.
Yeah, it's the
So
third
mine,
to the
I'm
last
showing that I
one.
have $1,700 left. And
How
out of
much?
that, mine says I have $1,700 left in spring maintenance.
Oh, so she gave you that before she did this week's bills.
Oh,
No, actually, this is before this week's bill too. And I think I spent $900 on gravel. So
Okay,
according to mine, I think in my calculations, I have $800 left
and your spring line,
in the spring line.
okay. And you got 30% of your winter budget left, so that's good.
yep.
And the sand shed's full,
Right. Once again, the sand shed is full.
yeah, which is like $20,000 roughly.
And on your equipment maintenance, winter somewhere.
We're about half, I believe.
Yeah,
So I think we'll get
are
you.
there issues there?
No, but at some point I do need to bring the town truck to finish up the damage that had happened this winter as far as the painting. I don't think that's a big part of it, but we just haven't been able to let go of the truck on the amount of time yet to do that.
Any of that money gonna spend in preparation of next winter? Do we have any body issues or suspension issues that we need to deal with?
Well, we're putting in for a new truck, so I'd rather not spend any money on that truck that for body issues.
You're
So,
gonna
but keep-
have to use this.
Keep in
truck.
mind,
Well, one more season, correct?
well, yeah, at least one more season. All right, so if it goes in the warrant next spring, then the earliest you're gonna be able to buy a new truck is next summer, right?
Correct, but as far as body and paint that we did, I think it's.
Yeah, no, I'm just thinking about usability. You know, as long as,
So I think it's okay. We had a lot of issues this winter. I mean, it was continuous. We had problems, but they were all small. We had like a lot of hoses that went bad and things like that, you know, in the middle of a storm. But we've changed a lot of them, and when we said, oh, well, this one's bad, let's just do this side at the same time, and, you know, brake cans, things like that. So I feel like we're okay. Nothing big to speak of.
and the plows are okay.
The plows, yep.
In this, I know we're looking way out in the future here, but is it your intention to buy a new truck with plows?
Yes,
Okay.
absolutely.
Fully equipped.
Yeah, well, they change every year too, they're just, you know, the technology.
Well, and things
better.
wear out. I mean,
Yep,
it's,
yeah, we noticed a big difference
Rust
from the
never
old
sleeps.
style to the new style, you know,
Yeah.
it's faster.
and any, I'm sorry, go ahead.
Oh.
Finish, go ahead, I can wait till the end.
So we have noticed that we've got some culverts replaced on dirt roads, so I am gathering my list, putting a list together of what we need, and we're gonna order our culverts next week, so that we can start working on those as well. Yeah, and that was really it.
And you're aware of you're gonna be there tomorrow.
I won't be there tomorrow.
Can I tell you, Jim?
Yeah.
So there's a the first warrant article is regarding, or Article 3, I'm sorry, regards driveway permitting. So is it your expectation that Jack is gonna
So that didn't pass.
defend it? Oh, okay, it didn't.
That did not
No,
pass.
that's from the balloting.
Right,
Oh, okay, I'm sorry.
yep,
It's town meeting stuff.
yep. So that was voted on in March and that didn't pass.
Right, we started in Article 4, Chip.
Right,
God. All right, never mind.
yeah.
I'm fine.
So the last couple of weeks, the Joint Loss Committee has been doing their annual inspections. You know, we were around to the highway garage last week. There were some things that we found. I don't know if you've heard anything about
I haven't got
that.
the list yet.
All right, so I know Jen is working that up. So there's the salt shed has some damage to it, right?
I believe it's the door.
The doors are right?
Yeah, the windows is.
All right,
gets
so,
a lot.
but that's on the list to fix, correct?
We, honestly, it's something that seems like it happens almost
Yep.
yearly.
Now, the sand shed it's full, it's overfull, right? I mean, it's spilling out the front.
Yeah, I just need to get my bigger loader to push it up there.
All right,
It's
so-
tough when we have a ramp going up it.
As you look at that door going in, the boards on the left-hand side at the bottom are busted out. So, you know what I'm talking about?
Yes, on the
So
left-hand side.
those need to be replaced. Of course, it's harder with the shed full, but,
Well, they're on the outside, because there's some on the inside as well.
all right. So anyway, that needs to be, I think needs to be on the list for,
Okay.
it's not gonna get better in the winter, right?
Yeah.
Well, it's
So,
cooler.
huh?
It's cooler.
Yeah, right, but any damage is only, as the weather gets more severe, is only gonna get worse, so I mentioned that. So the eye wash station that we used to have a problem with there is not a problem anymore because it's no longer there. But
we need a new one. That's
Yeah, right,
it's
so-
leaking.
And I mentioned to Jack, and why don't you touch base with him? We can get one that's set up to run off of the sink. You know, it's a diverter right on the sink. Now, do you have a deep sink there or just a little one?
It's a deep sink.
Yeah, so, to my way, I think it makes more sense than having that separate thing off to the side. In other words, it's got it goes right on the spigot with the diverter, so if you need it, you just push the button on it and it shoots the water up in your eyes, right over the sink, and it's,
Okay, so that's like a quick attach thing? just-
Yep,
Perfect. Yep, that makes sense, because the other one was kind of a pain for maintenance wise.
Yep.
And
So when we
eventually-
were in there, you guys had been working on something and there was quite a bit of oil on the floor. From hydraulic maybe?
We had a little spill, that's all.
Yeah,
It was an empty, no, it wasn't empty. It was a half full bucket and the lid popped off on a hydraulic 5-gallon oil tank.
Yeah.
For that. Yep.
So how many, so you had 2 gallons?
Yeah, but we threw speedy dry on it and whatnot.
And it was on a cement floor?
Yes,
so has that been cleaned up?
yes.
Okay, well, I figured it was just the time of the day we were in there was, so to move on, Union Wharf has not been cleaned yet. It's still full of gravel from the winter.
Okay.
So, I know the roads have been swept, but that, particularly out
So
on
we
the,
just gotta flatten it out.
well, and the concrete pad at the end, all full of gravel. So I guess when it was plowed this winter, it was plowed heavy and pushed up on the,
Well, yeah, we had one of those freeze thaw cycles going on.
yeah, well, anyway, it just needs to get cleaned up. And of course, there are some holes in the usual places that need
Filling. Yep.
filling. Over at the beach, the parking lot, got some pretty big potholes in it.
We did fill some of those last week. I don't know what else.
Okay, so
Oh,
we were there on Tuesday, you must have been there since then.
I
You
think,
know, they're fine.
okay.
All right,
I was there when they showed up and they probably spent an hour or so there just.
all right, so all I'm saying is we were there on Tuesday and there were some, the parking lot had a lot of potholes. So if it doesn't now, you must have done them since Tuesday.
No.
I don't think so. but-
If,
Raining.
huh?
Raining.
Yeah, yeah,
Maybe that's that.
so, all right. I think that's the only things that I remember from that.
So
I'll
any,
look at it though.
any discussions with the telephone company about the tower?
Nope, we did move what they asked us to. We moved that out of the way and they brought a line board, I guess it was, to check, but I never heard anything else about it.
And they put their balloon up at some point?
Hmm.
I didn't see it, so.
Huh?
I have to-
Yeah, the balloon was up a month ago, I
Yeah,
think, right? Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. Same time as the one down at the firehouse, or a few days later, yeah. All right.
The hazard mitigation plan update is in progress. Your absence was noted,
I thought that was
First
on the
meeting.
18th of this month is what I had on my.
and I believe our next meeting is the 27th.
I had it as the 18th.
Okay.
Kind of go back and forth with Rhonda on that. I filled out some paperwork.
Okay, I'm glad you did that, but why don't we have just Kathy drop you a note to be sure everything's on schedule? I could be wrong, but you were sorely missed, so
Okay.
hopefully you can make it to the next one.
Yeah, I didn't know. I thought it was the 18th.
Okay, Thank you.
That's what I have on my calendar, next Thursday.
maybe,
I will check into that.
good.
Yeah,
All right.
okay. Anything else for us?
No.
Good.
Thanks, Jim.
Thanks for coming in.
Yeah.
I have Tuesday the 18th.
Then it's Tuesday the 18th.
Tuesday 18th at 2 p.m. is the email I got.
So I guess we're gonna do Parks and Rec, but he just walked out. All right, so let's move along. We have the tax warrant for signature this morning. This is so we can send out tax bills for the first half. This warrant is for $5,752,718. And the due date for bills will be July 2nd. So I'll entertain a motion to,
I'll move we sign the tax warrant.
I'll second that.
all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
What goes with it?
Yep, that's all the detail. Pass me the signature holder and we'll.
Which one it is, just
Yeah.
grab it.
All right.
There you go. Did it all.
Yep,
Oh, I'm sorry.
yep. All right. Next signature item is an administrative abatement for New Hampshire Electric Co-op in the amount of $11,625, and this is per the abatement agreement that settlement agreement that we have with them from 2019.
I'll make a motion, we sign that.
I'll second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? I got a notice of intent to cut for PID 67-1-6.
I'll make a motion we sign.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Alright, so, and then we have paperwork, or applications for energy efficiency dollars. This is tied to the new police facility. One is for heat pump incentive application. One is for general energy efficiency. One is for heating equipment. One is for HVAC, and they all require just, looks like one signature. So
So what's
We-
the expiration date on this?
the expiration date, so. I don't know,
Do you know?
Andy, is there an expiration date on these
I
things?
don't know if there's an expiration date, they need them approved. You have to approve it before it's actually approved by them, is how that's signed.
I know, but if we approve it here and then for some reason the police station gets pushed off, do we just,
Then I guess it's whatever incentives they have at that time.
Right, so I
So
think
this is the existing that they have now.
right,
So it's,
So this is a 2021 program, so the expiration date on the program is the end of the year.
so, no, I'm just wondering whether we should sign it on Monday as opposed to signing it today.
well, I think she needed it before the building was approved it by town.
Okay, I'll make a motion that we have the chairman sign it.
I'll second it.
The total is $10,438, plus there's a chance of some more once they
Yep.
get into the plans further.
All right. Motion's been made and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? All right.
A couple of them need initials at the top of the pages.
Yep. All right. I will deal with this all.
And I left this one for guys.
Yes. Yep. Sorry.
No problem.
Yep. I'll grab these after You ready, Dennis?
I am.
Come on down.
All right. Didn't know if I was in line.
Next in line.
Yep.
We're relaxing with the mask now.
We are.
Feel that when I can maintain the distance,
If we're all
Don't need it.
vaccinated, then the mask mandate is beneficial. And I think everybody in this room has been vaccinated.
I cannot say that. I'm getting my second shot a week from today.
Okay.
Hence I put my mask on when I get too close.
Stay over there.
Don't worry.
Yep. Okay, Dennis.
Okay, we had
Thank you, Dennis.
a commission meeting last night.
All right.
And Guy, I apologize, we changed our Tuesday meeting because of the cornhole league
Okay,
for Thursday, and I'm not sure Brandon, the chairman, got in touch with you, but
we didn't.
I'm sorry
That'll
about
be an
that
issue.
again.
Okay.
All right, we'll get you okay for the next one. The first thing we did last night was Caleb Pike and a gentleman by the name of, what's his name? Andrew Lester. He runs Trail Design. You have a copy of a proposal for a mountain bike trail actually behind the fire station. And this guy is, he's pretty well known. He lives in Wolfboro, but he's been all over the country doing this. He's been doing it 30 years. So, you know, there's bike trails in Wolfboro, but he actually went through the whole thing, put this proposal together. And it's roughly $55,000. I'm bringing it up to you guys to kind of get the okay that we can go ahead and start marketing it and fundraising a little bit. Takes them about 2 months to build. There's 3 loops, like a beginner's, medium, and a top. For the experts, there's actually a little tricycle part of it where parents can sit and watch their kids. He put a good presentation on, and like I said, there's quite a few things. It's not like the old days where you ride a bike in the street now. You take your bike and you go to Wolfboro or you go somewhere else. So it's something for the future, but again, I would need the blessing to let us get going on trying to market this, get the word out, get some news releases, maybe start some fundraising. And not really knowing where it would come from, but we gotta start somewhere, so.
Is there a proposal to charge for this or just?
No, it's a free program. You know, like Wolfboro has a couple of trails, I guess, with the bikes, but.
And is it gonna, I notice it's next to the fire station.
Which it probably is a good thing, simply because of if there's an injury or they gotta get to it or something like that.
And parking,
I'm guessing parking is either where we park with the old town picnic or,
right.
you know,
So Parks and Rec would handle that, the coordinating the parking area and all that kind of thing. And
we didn't really get into the parking lot.
yeah,
I think it's gonna be an activity that people would like.
Yeah.
The land that we have and land that, you know, already has hiking, and he's gone over everything as far as are there hikers, are there bikers, and he would separate the two with signage, bikes go this way, hikers go this way. And it's pretty detailed. He's got all the machinery. I mean, there's different pitches for different things, so again, I don't know if you want to discuss it or if you want to get back to me, but he's got information on grants and stuff to try and get some money with this, so he's gonna get back to me next week on that, so. I think it'd be a good addition to the town.
So, and your intent would be to construct this with grant and or donated monies?
Mhm.
And I'm not, so on the back page you have
Yeah, those are the
three
trails.
different colors.
Yeah.
Right. I don't know, I'm not familiar enough with the existing walking trail. These are different trails than the walking trails?
Yeah, yeah.
And do they intersect?
I don't have it in front of me. There should be an explanation with each trail, the black trail, the green trail.
Yep. Yep.
I mean, you can read that and get back to me, you know, I don't have to have a decision right now, but certainly I'd like to pursue and get back to me as soon as I can. It's amazing, I didn't realize, you know, it's really grown, I believe, mountain biking, and the people that are involved. I know Caleb, the fire, from the fire department, is into it, and was brought up to our chairman, Brandon Woody, and he's into it, and there's quite a few people, I guess, that do it, so, I mean, I think it's helped by being on ESPN. I think some schools even have mountain bike teams. I know Kennett High School has that.
There are competitions all over the place,
Yeah.
which was one of the reasons I brought up the parking, because if you're gonna set up a totally different organization to run the mountain biking, then they need to come to us, but if Parks and Rec is gonna do it, then when they decide to have,
Yeah, he said that sometimes clubs develop out of this. I asked about budget increase as far as maintenance. He said unless there's a big storm and outside of, you know, bringing down trees or limbs or blowing leaves, it's not a big deal.
because the other big thing, or the thing that biking that's growing is the winter fat tire.
In the winter,
Right.
on the snowmobile trails.
Well, no, it's on the bike paths.
Yeah,
So
yeah. The fat,
They
yeah.
groom them and do the whole thing.
Right, yeah.
Yeah. Sounds interesting to me. Yeah. I'm not seeing any downsides. We're not displacing other uses for, this is an additional use that,
But the tower is gonna be up that area, I guess, right?
it's right up behind the firehouse.
Yeah.
So, and the location for that is,
Kind of like the blue.
yeah, I mean, I don't have it in front of me, but it's on a set of drawings out at the town office, so.
Yeah. He knew about it, the designer, and he
Mhm.
said it's not a big deal.
And he prepared this trail design?
Yes, correct.
Okay, so I guess I'll make a motion that we approve this going forward, but that we have a more exact trail map design before they start cutting into things.
I'll second that.
Just so we don't have-
Yeah. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Thank you, guys.
Okay.
Update on the mooring, you have a copy of the lease agreement from the boat museum and us, so I don't know if you guys wanna sign it, or whatever, he just wants that, he just sent it to me yesterday, in fact, but we have been approved for 2 moorings. They turned down the one in Wolfboro at Cary Beach because of the shallowness, the rocks, and the distance they were gonna have it out there, so.
So we have a state approval for 2 more?
Yeah.
Oh, good.
So the deal now is, I guess through COVID, they used to have a mooring over at the yacht club, and the yacht club gave it back to them this year. So what they're gonna do is, I got a request into our treasurer, actually when he comes in on Saturday, for 2 moorings, which you talked about, Jeff, you said we should pay for each mooring $125 each, so that's $250. The cost that he got to put the mooring in was $1,100. Now, since that time, I talked to, what's his name, the neighbor, late Lassie.
Yeah.
His son does that, and he could do it anywhere from $200 to $500, and that's their bill. But the plan right now is they're just gonna have the one boat at our beach. They want 2 moorings, but they said they can only afford the $1,100 one for this year. And I got messages into him saying, listen, I don't know politically where you're buying this mooring setup, but the guy next door can do it for anywhere from 200 to 500.
They could have 2 moorings in place.
And well, the guy next door, I guess he goes to a granite place and gets a rock. They drill halfway down the rock and put the epoxy with the chains and the mooring ball and all that. So I don't know where that stands, but as of right now, one of their boats are gonna be out of the yacht club in Wolfboro. One will be out of ours. Whether they put the 2 moorings in, I don't know. They're gonna at least have the one, so.
And are they gonna leave a dinghy on
The
site?
dinghy is gonna be tied next to the shed.
Okay,
Yeah.
so they're gonna hold us harmless for whatever happens to that. Yeah, indemnification.
So if you guys could sign one of them, and get that back to Kerry, we'll go from there.
Okay.
We don't actually have the decals yet because, number one, we didn't pay the bill, and number two, they didn't register the boats because they didn't register them unless the mooring thing was turned down. So they since have registered. I got the copies ready to go in the mail once I get the checks on Monday. The permits, so, but we have been approved and we'll go from there.
Okay.
Is it advisable to run this by town council?
Yeah, we probably should, because I don't see any release of liability for the town for personal injury. And if, you know, somebody falls off a sailboat and drowns, we got the deepest pocket. So, yeah, I'm gonna make a motion to present this to town council, and then we're back here on Monday, so there's,
No.
we're not?
No.
I'll tell you, it's like a part-time job.
Yeah, it is, that's right.
Well, at the very least, we'll be back here on Friday, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, so between now and next Friday, we'll.
You guys have some
an
things.
answer.
Right, and you two will have to do that because I'm getting my second shot, so. At 9 o'clock in
Hospitalize
Plymouth.
you?
At 9 o'clock in Plymouth.
But we don't have a meeting next time.
Not yet.
Not yet.
But well, so I'm not here the following week, so I was gonna suggest that we meet
Think about,
on Friday, yeah.
yeah, something.
Yeah. So,
Pick up
you get your
pieces.
shot in the morning,
Yes.
all right, so you can meet later.
Well, yeah, later, but Chip has a late afternoon.
Well, I can work on that, if that's the only day we're gonna meet next week, I'll make a point of
Sure.
to have.
Yeah,
Yeah, we can make it work.
yep.
All right,
Probably after 11,
yeah.
I'm guessing. Provided there's no line in Plymouth, you never know how this is gonna go.
Who's good?
All right, so
Okay.
Rick is away right now, right? So can we, if we have a PDF of this, we can send it to him, he can, I'm fine having him work on it on his vacation.
Yeah, I just wanna make sure.
Just
Sign
run
up
it,
there.
just run it by him and if he's got any,
Do you have a PDF of that?
The boat museum.
I'm sorry, I
Do you
didn't.
have a PDF of that? If not, I
Did they
can
send
see.
you
I
a
do,
slide?
yeah.
Okay.
You do have one? Can you
Yeah.
send it to me when you get back?
yep.
Yep.
Okay. Looks like the New Zealanders are invading as well.
I'm getting to that.
Yeah,
Minorities or whatever they are.
It's just a quick maintenance update. The signage from the roadside will be going in the next 2 weeks. You know, and I just talked to Jim Bean about other things. He did fill the potholes, he brought the benches back. We talked about the swim lines, the addition of 20 Mile Bay.
Yeah.
And then I talked to Zach Tufts, he's gonna try and get it in the rafts and the other lines by Memorial Day based on the weather. Last year, the year before, we had them rent a wetsuit because we wanted them in for Memorial Day, but I said, we're not gonna do that. I said, the weather's gonna be bad for Memorial Day. One of our commissioners, Mark, he's an electrician, he's agreed to do some work down there, but I guess he talked to Jack and wanted to know if the selectmen knew about it, so I'm bringing it up with some of the lighting issues we have.
In the pavilion?
At the what?
In the pavilion?
In the pavilion and then in the shed itself too. So Mark was just, he wasn't at the meeting last night, but he just met with me this morning, and it's about $2,300, and he's not charging us for labor. So,
And-
I guess, and
Is he a
again,
member?
I got in a little trouble with Jack and the beach thing and all that, but again, I don't know the whole procedure, how this goes, so I'm leaving it up to you guys as far as the work to be done. Can it be done? Can it be approved? Is it in the budget? Yes. But I do think we need more lighting down there, especially nights at concerts.
So what kind of lighting you,
Well, there's some shooting out to the parking lot, some shooting out to the exit to the road, a couple actually shooting into the field.
so
And
so
then-
any lighting we put up has got to be dark skies.
So what?
Dark skies. So that means you can't just put a spotlight on the end and shine it out.
Dark skies?
Dark skies,
Yes.
yes.
That's-
That's-
I'm sure, I don't know if he knows about it, but I'll bring that up to him.
So,
If he's an electrician.
yeah,
All, the easiest thing to do is have your electrical contractor talk to Jack.
He did already.
Regardless, anything, if you're gonna paint the pavilion, talk to Jack, can't go wrong. That's all,
Right, that's a good tip.
yeah. As I said before,
So, I mean, I hate to be the bearer of bad news, we ask her a hard question. Is this electrician a member of your Parks and Rec committee?
Yes.
That's not how we do that. I mean, anything over a certain amount of money, you gotta put it out on the street. Paying a person who's in the government money to do something that's in his profession smells of corruption. So I just don't know how you wanna handle that, Mr. Chairman.
well, I think, yeah, I think we always have to be sensitive to that. So somebody that's on the board that's gonna provide a service to the town, right, and be compensated for it, it's gotta be an arm's length transaction, which suggests that we're not saying, hey, yeah, we all get along well, we'll give you some money, you'll do this for us. So that's the issue with having somebody that's a member of
Right.
the,
Normally, if we put it out to bid and hired someone other than this man,
yeah,
it'd probably be double the price anyway.
Well, no, and but that's how you protect the system from abuse, is you put it out on the street, you get bids, now you know what the retail cost is. If he comes in at lower than retail, then obviously we're gonna hire him. But unless we can, I'm not an electrician and Bill's not one, unless we can verify that the pricing is fair, then we're just,
So how do you want me to handle it?
I think what you do, what Guy said, you go to Jack, tell him what you're looking at, and have him put together a
proposal,
proposal, an RFP.
request for, I'm sorry,
Request for proposals. So, and he'll review the lighting needs with you as well, and he'll explain the dark sky issues.
right. He'll also have a list of electricians reasonably local, which you probably wouldn't know about, which will help you out. And when we put that out, and as Chip says, we get a chance to see just what stacks up. Might even save you money, who knows, I don't know.
Well, and I'm sure that whoever we're dealing with on the board is honest and above board and
Right.
trying to help. But we just need to be able to answer the public's questions when they ask, did you put it out for bid? and what was
Yep,
the
all
bid?
the time.
So,
Okay.
let's just be clear. He's, my understanding is that he's proposed doing this for a good price, right?
Not charging us labor, yeah.
Oh,
No
he's-
charge.
No labor charge?
No,
So he's volunteering the labor.
yeah.
So all we're doing is buying the materials. Well, that's
Whole
different.
different ballgame.
That's different than if he's being compensated for it. And
Right.
yeah, as long as
So,
Having been in the car business, it's okay to charge nothing but charge twice on the parts.
right,
So he's making the same amount of money. So I guess, once again, I'd suggest going to Jack.
Right?
Getting
got
rid
kind of
of
look
this.
over Jack, yeah.
And
Oh.
then,
Discuss it with him.
yeah.
Sounds good. Just on the concerts, again, we're stuck at 2,800, bill is 3,200, so we're still waiting to get some more. Again, Rolling Tree 1,000 and Maxfield Real Estate 1,000, and there's some small ones there too, so. Just kind of get at my commissioners last night I gave them a list of sponsors to see who they know and stuff and try and get some more in, so we're looking more on that. As far as the program update, the Cornhole League has started. What you have in front of you is a picture of what's called an outrigger canoe.
Yeah.
And what's gonna happen there is on Saturdays from 8 o'clock in the morning to 12 o'clock, we're gonna be running a program where we're gonna introduce the community to this outrigger canoes. They're gonna offer free rides and free lessons in return that they're gonna keep their boat right there, actually. They're gonna set it up starting tomorrow. And this is a canoe, I don't know if you ever seen them like in Hawaii or Tahiti. It's 6 men, it's only about this wide, so I probably couldn't fit in it, I'm not sure. But there's 6 of them, and they alternate, 15 strokes here, then they go 15 strokes here. I think it's a fun program, it's gonna be fun to watch them, and again, anybody that wants to try it, it's gonna be open every Saturday. They're gonna give them a swim test to make sure they can swim. He's got a 6-man, he's got a 2-man, he's got a 1-man. And that, like I say,
Is this going on all summer? Is that the plan?
we don't have a starting date yet. As much as I wanted to be with you guys at the town meeting tomorrow, I'm gonna be down at the beach with him.
Swimming.
Not swimming, helping him with this outrigger deal. And this was a recommendation through, the boat museum. So I think it's a new program, it's something worthwhile, and I think our residents will have fun trying this thing out. You guys can certainly try it.
And
Is
we're,
who's the person?
Huh?
Who's the person doing this?
His name is Pascal, I don't have his last name with me.
Okay, can you get me that just for the
Yeah, he will, he lives in Wolfboro.
and we're gonna keep the outrigger on site, is that right?
On site, yeah. It's gonna be, as you're coming in from the road where that fence is on the inside, he's got tires gonna be put down, it's gonna be there. And we talked about different things, but I said, I don't want people throwing trash, I don't want, people sitting on it, all that stuff. His liability insurance, he's got all that.
Yeah, so we need the same, if he's gonna be there all summer, we need the same kind of thing as this, that we're doing the boat museum.
Yeah, okay, yeah.
So we're gonna liable for his boat,
Yeah,
and if somebody gets hit in the head with a paddle,
yeah.
falls off,
Makes sense, yeah.
all that kind of thing.
We'll put something together.
And have it, I know with the boat museum, we didn't really talk about term. I think it's kind of an unknown thing if it works. But let's be able to review this thing on a seasonal basis, because we're gonna get public input from whatever you do at the beach.
Well, and this lease is just for this season. So,
Right, May
yeah.
15th to October 1st.
Yeah.
Which means we'd have to do another one next year.
Yeah.
That's right.
But on the outrigger, I think,
Same thing?
Yep.
yeah, you got parking, you got people, you got all that kind of thing, so. I just wanna make sure that it's together before we start taking neighboring properties by eminent domain to increase our voting potential. Just how to say that.
Yeah.
Just continuing with the program update, the lessons, we've had a little, glitch with the release form, which we finally squared away. Put us back a little week and a half, and then didn't go in the paper last week, and I checked with him, I said, why isn't my swim release and that concert stuff in? He explained he only got so much time and so many spaces, so it was in, I believe, yesterday's paper, so we're ready to go with that. Yoga is coming back both at 20 Mile Bay and 19 Mile Bay. We're gonna have only one paint class and a tie-dye class for the kids. The Lake Coast is gonna be starting July 1st. One big I guess it's kind of, they're alarmed about these things called the zebra mussels.
Yeah.
And they've been in Massachusetts and Vermont, and I guess they're sharp shells, and it would really change the way you swim or boat. So we gotta really make sure with the clean, dry, and all that, but more importantly, you'd be swimming with shoes on.
Well, it's an invasive, so
Yeah.
Yeah.
there's a lot of stuff, fish
It's
population.
been a concern for a lot of years.
Yeah. Yeah, just two other items quickly. We have a mile swim race planned on July 10th. A family approached me. Guy's name is Tommy Mon. They were from New Jersey, and his father passed away. So in memory of his dad, they used to do this race down there, and he lives on the island. So we met and talked about it. And I said, look, my budget's limited. And he goes, no, well, the family's paying for everything. They're buying the buoys, the big blow-up buoys, and hats and shirts, and the timing company, and all that. So the 10th of July, we're gonna have that race. We just took a job at the Deutsche Bank, and I called him last night. I said, I haven't heard from you in a week. We gotta get going with this. So he's back in town this weekend. So it should be an exciting event. You know, the one thing we gotta come up with is volunteers along the course out in their boats as a safety type thing. So that's something new. We did have our old home days meeting. Girl Karen Burnett, is it Curie, from the Abenaki Tower, wanted to make sure that we knew that next year is the 100th anniversary of the tower, and they're gonna plan all kinds of events. So we're gonna work with them a little bit and try and make home days part of their big celebration. The home days meeting, again, the only solid things right now are the picnic, the cardboard boat race, and the scavenger hunt. And again, we're looking to, Brandon is gonna check with the other camps up there as far as cooking food and get those dinners back up at the school, get the chicken dinner back, get the antique cars back, and you know, just anybody else that has any ideas, certainly we're welcome.
So the swim race, the 100 or the 1 mile race,
Yeah,
is gonna be from 19 Mile Beach.
Yeah. yeah. He's got it mapped. I got stuff back and I should have copies.
And you're gonna be able to accommodate the
Well,
average swimmers that just show up on a daily basis and the racers? Are you gonna segregate them somehow?
I don't know. Again, the stuff he showed me in New Jersey, it ended up becoming a big event with a lot of swimmers, but I don't know how they.
Well, if it's a really big event, then maybe you should call Deutsche Bank for their support of your concert series.
Right.
It's a thought.
Say it again?
Deutsche Bank
Oh, yeah, see, here we go.
to support the
Hit 'em
concert.
up for.
So, and you wanna make sure that the fire chief knows
Yes.
what's gonna be happening here.
Yeah.
Yeah, because they're not gonna be interested.
Well,
Well, I know he's going through the state as far as the patrol knows and everything like that.
Yes.
yeah, to get a state,
Right.
that's fine, but again, the fire chief needs to know.
Hmm.
Marine Patrol, they control the water, so you need an event permit from them.
Right.
But if there's an issue out there, it's our fire and rescue guys that are gonna respond.
Right. They
So-
should be staged and ready.
Yep,
And they're probably gonna wanna be on scene
yep.
for a race, so.
The other issue, about the meeting tomorrow, we're not gonna make any motions as far as increasing our town budget for that movie screen. We're gonna look at our budget at the end of the year, and we think we're gonna have money left over. So, the Melbourne Church ladies, Susan McCarthy called me, they're interested in similar, equipment. They're gonna be running movies, I guess, across the street, but she knew we were into it, and we did it last summer. So we're gonna hold off on you guys have enough controversy, I guess, 2 months. We'll just back it off.
Good. May work out.
It might work out, if not, then we'll look to the next summer.
Bear in mind that if you know you have this money soon enough, and you can get a signed contract for the equipment, we can encumber the funds if it takes into the next year.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
let us know early about that if you can, so that we can do something with that.
absolutely, yeah.
Yeah, I think all of these programs that you're mentioning, like the Maori there, natives canoe racing and the 1 mile swim and the mountain bike track, the more expansive Parks and Rec gets, the more reasonable it is to ask for something like a movie projection.
Right.
Because we're creating more and more programs for our kids and showing people.
Good.
And so, yeah,
That's all I have. Good luck tomorrow, guys.
All right.
So
Thank you, Dennis.
meetings are now on Thursday.
What's that?
The meetings are now moved to Thursday or Tuesday? Which one
Yeah,
is it?
it's out email, yeah,
Okay,
yeah, because I know you're on this.
right. I would love to have been.
When is it, Thursday from now on, do you need me to change your website?
Yeah, because at least for the Cornhole League, I mean, it's Tuesday night, so we'll probably go on Thursdays. I wrote the date down for the next one, so I'll get it.
Okay.
Okay.
So when,
So we can skip over 5 and 6, which are the other ones associated with police.
but how do we skip over 5? Do we just say, hey, we don't want to do it?
no, we just don't move it.
We
Just
right,
don't move it?
Right,
Okay.
so we go out of order in the,
Yep,
on the warrant and move forward. To wait for the results of,
yeah, I'm aware of that, Bill. What I meant to do is, how do we back out of Article 5 if,
So when Article 5 is read by the moderator, we don't move it.
okay,
So if nobody moves Article 5, then somebody in the crowd might stand.
That's what I was wondering.
yeah, that could be
Someone in
good.
the crowd will move it,
You
because
think?
they feel obligated, because, oh, nobody's moving it, I'll move it.
yeah. So,
Not because they like it or don't like
Yeah.
it.
Well, we
Yeah.
could actually, I
We
mean,
can- we
we
can
could
make-
say, it's not, we're not recommending this article be moved.
Right.
well,
Well, it's
But-
procedural for me and new, you know?
right, again, if we want to wait until the results of the vote on Article 4, before we deal with anything else but the police, then we can take the other articles out of order.
Yes, I'm aware of that.
And move forward.
I just
And
wondered
and
how
deal
we-
with the Article 5 and 6 after we know the results of the vote on.
Well, we have to.
on Article 4.
And if it gets moved and seconded and we have to, I mean, we're gonna be asked to defend it or present it. It's pretty easy to say that when we wrote the warrant, plywood prices were X and now they're X plus 2. It's not our recommendation to deplete the undesignated fund balance by that much money.
Yeah.
So we're not recommending it. So this Board of Selectmen is not recommending that article anymore.
Because this is a pretty unusual circumstance.
Right, and my question is, how involved is the moderator in deciding this?
So the moderator runs the meeting, he's the one that recognizes whoever does what. So we coordinate with him in terms of where we want to go. But if he
There'll
wants,
be a
if he wants,
lawyer there.
if he wants to, yeah, if he wants to go a different direction, he's running the meeting.
Right, that's what I'm saying, is that he,
I mean,
you
there's
might want to
probably,
talk to him tonight,
worst case
rather than
scenario,
tomorrow.
worst case scenario, let's say that the first article fails, the second article gets moved and seconded by the audience, and it passes. Well, then we're in a position of saying, okay, now we're gonna completely delete the undesignated fund balance, because that's what we gotta do, that's our job.
So, it authorizes us to do that. Right, no, I agree.
Well, that's when you get up and you make your, ask people to vote no, because of the change in circumstances.
Right.
Oh, yeah, if you got the money and the people wanna spend it, that's their decision.
And then grant money is different too, so.
Right,
Yeah,
so the numbers in Article 5 change like the numbers in Article 4 do.
Right.
Unless we suddenly think we can be much more efficient if we're spending cash rather than borrowing money. And I don't see that that's the case.
So you have to make a motion to how you gonna do that, because you made a motion on Article 1, the first article. I mean, I'm sure it's the same numbers, I don't know that you need to, but throwing that out as a point of order, I guess. Earlier today, that's what I'm saying.
Yep.
Well, I mean, the simple language would be the gross is, or the amount of the warrant articles, $1,772,673,825 is coming from the reserve. 341,063 is coming from USDA, and $757,112 is going to come out of the undesignated fund balance.
Yep.
So we had the motion and it was seconded for purposes of discussion. We should vote.
Can we repeat the motion?
You made a motion to take out $200,112, but it's already been seconded and you did 3-0. You already voted on it.
For Article 5.
Yeah, I don't know if that was a motion.
No.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I think that was
Just a discussion.
a discussion.
Discussion.
Yeah, you guys haven't done it.
Because we had, if you want to rewrite the numbers to reflect what I just said.
Well, I think they'd have to be, but
We need to have them ready tomorrow.
Right,
yes,
right. Because we need to present, that people need to be warned,
right.
as we learned
Yeah.
just the other year.
Yep.
That's why they call it a warrant.
So, yeah, you have to move it, and you have to move to amend it on each of those, right?
Right.
And this only made me moot. I mean, I think at a couple $100,000 a year for 3 years, owning a new police department's not a bad deal. So I'm not as scared about Article 5 or 4.
Especially since you're putting 300,000 a year away for capital reserve anyway.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you've been putting 300 grand away every year, so what's 296,000 at the $4,000 or $6,000 savings? We're just asking you to make the same payments for 3 more years, and then you own it.
All right.
So you're up to Article 6.
We are up to Article 6, which, as we already discussed, ought to wait for action until after the Article 4 vote is completed.
Yeah, if 4 passes, it's moot. If 5 passes, it's moot. And if neither one of them passes, then we should pass Article 6.
Yep. Now, one of the things that is operating differently than it used to be with respect to borrowing money is used to require a 2/3 supermajority. Now it requires a 3/5 supermajority. So it's a slightly smaller lift
Yes.
than,
6.666% smaller.
yep. All right. So, who wants to present 7?
I'm happy to.
Okay,
Okay, so that's Guy.
yep.
Okay.
And, item 8. Radios.
Do you want to do that one?
Hmm?
Do you want me to do that one or the next one? Doesn't matter.
That's fine.
That's Chip.
Yep,
And Bill's the fire truck.
yep,
You got an easy one, buddy.
yep. All right.
Bill, are you doing the first one?
No, Guy is.
No, Guy's doing Article 6.
I'm doing Article 6, yes.
We haven't gotten back to the police station yet.
Right, so we're divvying up the rest of them. Have we answered all your questions? Is it clear as
Yeah.
mud?
Yeah, it's clear to me now.
Okay,
You know, you get it.
So,
You may not get it tomorrow, I think you're gonna be bombarded with, you know, where are the plans?
Well, they should all be
How many
there.
officers are we gonna have?
right,
All that kind of stuff.
yep,
The same number of officers. that
We're gonna have 4,
I'm just saying, you're gonna get,
but there's always the future.
yep.
Why are there more than one article? No, it goes on and on.
Yeah, well, they should have done what Susie and I wanted to do years ago.
oh my God, imagine.
And a lot less
We
money.
would have had all three, police, fire, and library. We would have had them all done all at once.
Yeah.
Long ago.
Remember this.
Long ago.
Yeah,
Bye.
thanks, Sue.
All right, so we're up to Article 10.
Yep. So,
I can do that one.
okay,
And
Article 11. I need to do Article 12, I think, but I'll be happy to do 11 as well.
Okay?
13, that's the,
Yeah, I think me being the representative to the Conservation Commission, I can do that. I would just run it quickly by you, how I present it, see what you think.
yeah,
I would say that the opportunity has come for the town to purchase a piece of property adjacent to the Great Meadow and bounded by Sodom Road, which will greatly increase the amount of protection we have for the Great Meadow. And I believe Steve Wingate is here to give you some more details.
so the first question that's gonna come up is, why am I paying $100,000 for land I already own?
Right.
I don't know how many people know that.
Well, the person who's gonna ask
Yeah.
knows it.
yeah.
Yep.
So,
And the answer to that is that this amount represents the fair market value, the appraised value of the parcel.
Of the property. Yeah.
And that while the town currently holds the title to the property, the former owner of the property has an interest in the property beyond all taxes, penalties, and fees that are owed. So anything in excess of what they owe in taxes, when the town gets rid of it, goes back to the former owner. So
The town can only
we,
purchase the tax lien, and then the rest of it goes to the former owner.
Right,
Yeah.
so
so actually, the $100,000, or the vast majority of that $100,000 is gonna get paid back to the town.
Yes,
So,
right.
I mean, I don't know how much tax was owed, but I thought it was somewhere around 60 grand.
Yeah.
So that amount of money is coming back to the town.
Sure.
So you increase the revenue by 60 grand through this tax sale. The balance of that money will go to the former owner.
Mhm.
And then they'll have to continue paying taxes on the property.
Right. No problem there.
All right, well, we'll come to your aid if it gets too heavy.
yep, absolutely.
Well, again, as I present the article, but I'm gonna turn it over to Steve to give the details.
Yeah.
Right,
And then if the questions come,
But he's not gonna
oh,
understand.
no, that's fine.
financing.
He just gives them why we want it,
Right.
what the benefit is, and then we can get into that. No problem.
yep. All right,
Am I up? I guess I am.
you wanna do 14?
Sure.
Okay,
So this is to see if the town will vote to raise and appropriate the sum of $55,000 for the purpose of completing improvements to a land road. The sum to be reimbursed by the property owners abutting or served by such road through a betterment assessment. Yeah, I'll do that, because I definitely will take Bonson on.
He won't
It's
be
gonna
there.
increase the value of his property a hell of a lot more than any betterment assessment's gonna impose on them. Because now he's got, and maybe he never wants to sell it, but he's not gonna live forever either.
Oh, no, we
The heirs
understand.
of the signs can now have property on a class.
Yeah, we should still be going to Brewster Academy tuition free, and things change. It doesn't
Yeah.
work that way, but you'll be taking on Laurel, not Ken, because he's unable to make the meeting.
Yeah,
I love Laurel, should be fine.
Be nice to hear.
yep. Article 15. This is
I'd
the,
be happy to do the contingency fund.
okay,
That's an easy one, every year.
yep,
Yeah.
No, the easy one's fire.
yep. All right, Article 16. That's gonna, you want me to do that one?
Yep. In the chair.
It has its responsibility.
Article 17,
I'll do that.
okay? By the way, did you get the email from the co-op broadband group with respect to voting for trustees? They had recommended candidates to vote,
Yeah, I did get it.
so I thought that was helpful,
Yeah,
because I never know who to vote for, so anyway, they had,
I'll find out
this-
who you should vote for.
huh? What's that?
I should find out who you should vote for.
Well, these are just candidates that the coalition feels will be more supportive of moving the broadband effort forward.
I was more interested to see that the co-op is finally, after 50 years of being a member, is gonna give us back some of the money that we have accumulated.
Yeah,
Because it's supposedly membership owned.
Right.
yeah,
I'm getting
Yeah.
47.
My wife would be very pleased.
yeah. All right, so did you want to present the one on the broadband district, or want me to, or what?
I'll do that, or you can do it, it doesn't matter to me. So, whatever's, you're in the broadband business, right?
I am.
Are you?
Broadband.
That's supposed to be.
Huh?
I'll do it.
Okay, all right,
Okay. But we could argue up here on the
Yep.
stage.
yep, all right, and then we got the,
So you're
The
the chair,
budget.
so you do the budget,
mhm.
and then
Now, does that number change according to voting in, I'm just asking, according to, that's just for the general budget, right?
That's the operating budget.
Right.
yeah,
Okay.
it's the operating budget. Yeah.
Yep.
We can't change that
No.
number without the budget committee being involved.
Right.
That's their budget,
Yep,
so Gordon should do it.
yep.
Can we do that? Can we have Gordon present it and not one of us?
So we've done it before where
Yeah.
we've changed the number at town meeting.
Oh, I don't mean change the number, I mean, can we have Gordon present it?
Well, we'll allow them to speak to it, for sure.
But
Yeah.
one of us
He'll
has
be
to,
up there.
yeah, but one of us has to explain it a little bit, right? We have to. The moderator reads it, turns it over to us, one of us says, yeah, this is the numbers that were determined by us and by them, they reduced it a little bit, here you
Yeah.
go. That kind of thing, right?
Right.
Historically, I mean, I've been there when Gordon's standing at the mic waiting,
Okay.
and he just starts in.
Yep,
I mean,
Oh, yeah.
Well, we'll just put a question mark there and see if Gordon's gonna come.
well, Chip will handle it for us.
Okay. Thank
and,
you.
And the two
I
petition,
second that.
yeah, the two petition articles,
Yeah.
we don't need to do anything with.
No.
Yeah, somebody else is gonna stand up. and-
Somebody else can do that, right?
Oh my God.
So, yep,
Hmm.
so,
Okay.
I mean, Article 19, that's a beauty contest, right? So,
Yep.
and Article 20 is, I'm sure she'll be there.
It doesn't matter if Article 20 passes, because it's so poorly written. that it's
Doesn't-
unenforceable.
Doesn't authorize us to do anything.
Right,
There's no money.
Anyway.
This, yeah, and it's just terrible. I'm sorry about that. I know what her intent was, but
Well-
it's not presented properly.
right, and even if it passed, to have us purchase it, there's no money attached to it, so
Right. It's,
it's great to say that town meeting wants you to do it, but unless you put money on it, we can't spend any money on it.
Not specific enough in too many directions.
Right,
What property, for example? Okay, yeah.
So is Bill presenting 4?
sure,
I'm just.
are we back there?
yeah,
Yeah, I think we have to.
Yep.
Well, we have to present the numbers, because We created the number.
Right,
Right.
so,
we're gonna have to
and
defend it.
who's gonna have to defend it? Me?
Phil,
Phil, well, right, so, and what I'm gonna suggest with respect to those two is do a clean rewrite
yeah,
as an amended motion that we hand to, the moderator,
right.
rather than just pen scratching. So,
Right, because he would read the original article and then we have to amend it.
right,
I mean, I think, can we decide tomorrow who does what?
sure,
I think I gotta look at the crowd.
Yep.
It's really gonna depend on the
Yep.
crowd.
you're right,
I don't mind doing it, but
yeah,
it may be counterproductive for me to do it.
yeah. All right. We got anything else we need to do today?
I just want to inform you that DRA is coming in Monday to audit us for exemptions, current use.
Okay. Okay, and we're gonna meet next Friday as our next meeting.
Right, and probably somewhere between 11 and 12.
That sounds good. Make it 11. I'm sure I can get through up there an hour and don't have to speed too
Alright.
badly to get back.
At 11 o'clock next Friday.
Yeah, we can start with that. Should be
And it's just a work session, or is
No, it's
it a
meeting.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
instead of Monday.
And is it gonna be here? Yeah.
Yeah, we ought to do it here.
So I'll be signing checks late in the day instead of early in the morning and forgetting a
Yeah.
couple.
I'll just bring them up.
All right. Anything else? Any Joe input?
I do have one.
Yes, sir.
You and I have been in this town for almost 20 years and I know what's going on for a while. But at the planning board, as you just quoted at the 11th hour, the applicant decided that they weren't gonna make it, they weren't ready, whatever.
Right.
It didn't help the rest of the people that were in the room waiting to speak. And Matthew wouldn't comment on any discussion in reference because the applicant wasn't here. At what point, does the applicant have to give you notice that he's not gonna be here?
So, before the hearing continues, the issue was, there was information that moving the application forward required that was supposed to arrive and didn't. So, and they were aware, I believe, that morning that it wasn't gonna be there, and that's when they said, can we continue to the 20th?
And that's all fine and well.
Huh?
That's all fine and well. I'm speaking for me and the rest of the people who showed up that night,
Right.
expecting to see something and all of a sudden say, oh, the information's not here.
Right?
Now, this isn't the first time it's going on like that. I'm just curious of how we could correct this in the future. I'm just posing that. I'm not looking for an answer, something to ponder, but something to also look into in the future. I don't think there's an answer, but, like I said, now, on May 20th, I would hope that these people have the information they were waiting for, and then we'll all show
Right.
up. That's all I got, thank you.
Right, no, so the only people that I'm aware of that were here that sat through the whole meeting waiting were people that came late, because at the beginning of the meeting, the chairman made sure everybody that was here understood that that hearing wasn't gonna take place today. It's just the people that showed up 20 minutes late.
Right. I understand.
Didn't get the word.
Yeah, you showed up,
Yep,
All right, thank you.
yep.
Do you guys want to discuss masks or no? Jen just asked me to bring it up.
Oh,
What was that?
Masks.
I'm not prepared to make that decision today. I want to make sure that we don't have anybody working in the office that's uncomfortable with eliminating the mask before we take it away. And I understand there are people that push back against it, but hold on a little bit longer.
Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah,
I
'cause
mean,
you can't, there's no way
you
to
don't
get,
have to necessarily take it away, you can always say it's what people are comfortable doing when they come in the office, whether they wear one
no, it isn't.
or not.
No, because the people who don't want to wear a mask don't want to get a vaccination either. And that's the issue. I mean, it's one thing if we're nationwide, that is the prerogative.
Okay,
Right.
I'll take nationwide.
So, I mean, if we can't know that that person coming in is vaccinated,
Right.
you can't eliminate the mask. And if they don't want to get a vaccine passport because they see that as some sort of governmental overreach because they're so stupid, then don't get a vaccine passport. When you go and get your vaccine, throw the card away.
Well, I thought that I will keep the card after I get my second shot and put it in my wallet if anybody asks. I
Just
can
one
show
of those.
them. You know, how hard could it be?
Yep.
And that's what they're suggesting.
Right?
Yeah,
Yep.
but when I hear that 40% of the police officers in New Hampshire are not vaccinated, and they had vaccine available from the get-go,
Boggles the mind.
it just boggles the mind. Anyway, I've got the computer chip in, so if I get lost, I can just call the government and they'll tell me where I am.
I hope the person who's monitoring me has a good book, because it's not gonna be very exciting.
Yep.
I make a motion, we adjourn the meeting.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.